Now, let's talk about some latest meta advertising tactics and techniques that really help myself and my clients achieve significant improvement in meta advertising results in the past 1 year. And I want you to start using this in 2025 and beyond, right? First thing first, although this is really not something that a lot of people do, but I think it's worth looking into testing various optimization options, especially for e-commerce. But then again, we have a few angles to look into, right? First thing first, when it comes to e-commerce, this is really for some real cases. Some of my clients, I mean, because when we run e-commerce, of course, every time when we want to set up a campaign, we go all the way to purchase, right? But some of my clients, especially those clients that sells on marketplaces like Shopee, Lazada, some of our ad sets that optimize for add to cart gets us really good result at some very interesting time, especially, say, for example, if you're running this for like, say, 11/11, a double date, which only happens on the day itself where a lot of people will be buying on the day. The campaign, prior building up to the main event, say, for example, if you launch this on, let's say, on the 5th or 6th of November, building up to Double 11, for example, right? For that particular 1 week before building up to that, while we are building that up, optimizing for add to cart seems to get us better result. Why? Because when you go for add to cart, that means Meta would actually know who are the people who adds a lot of things to cart, right? So they would actually find these people, they show your ads to these people. So in turn, we observe the number of add to cart that we were getting, it was good. And then on the day itself, it worked. I mean, as in like a good bunch of these people who added to cart actually checked out on the main event itself. So that's really something that may not apply to all of you, especially if you're running some long-term purchase and all that, maybe purchase works better. But if you have these kind of short-term campaign and events, you probably want to consider testing different optimization, play between add to cart and purchase and see which one works better. All right. So that's really something that I want you to look into. And then for lead generation, really testing various messaging channels do make a difference, right? That's what I was talking about. I've been talking about this all the time. In fact, on my YouTube videos, YouTube channels and all. When we are running ads for lead generation, lead forms is not the only option. WhatsApp is not the only option. It's really not the options that we prefer. Of course, we can actually have a choice and say that I want people to come to my landing page and sign up. But what if your audience are not into that? What if they just don't like to go to the website and fill in the form and they just want to WhatsApp you instead? Do you want leads or do you want people to go through your way? Sometimes we may not have like the full say on this thing because we really want to get the audience to engage with us. Remember, when we're running ads, it's about engaging, right? So we need to really observe and test various optimization, as in like in terms of messaging channel. So yeah, test that. And of course, on the other hand, we also have to observe based on the quality of leads that we are getting, especially for lead generation. Like, for example, if you go for WhatsApp Messenger, like you probably get a lot more leads, but how about the quality? Like when I work with lead gen clients, my main concern is always about quality. I want to help my client get the best quality of leads coming through. So let's say, for example, if you have 10 leads, okay, on WhatsApp, all right, and out of it, only one lead are useful. Even though you pay $10 per lead, that means one useful lead costs you $100. But on the other hand, if you go for, like landing page and straight, I mean, do all this filtering and all that, immediately you want them to book a call. Per book call is $50, for example. In my opinion, that is still a cheaper because $50, I get one call. If I spend $100, I get two calls. But over here on WhatsApp, I spend $100, only I have one actionable leads, which is not that justifiable, although the cost per lead on WhatsApp may be cheaper, but I want you to pay attention to the quality of it as well. Okay, so yeah, and this is really for e-commerce. If you have the option available, test conversion value rules optimization. Now, this is not something that is available to anyone, but I want to really get into that and show you. Okay, so this is one of my clients' ads manager. Basically, when we are setting up an e-commerce, a sales campaign, it's an e-commerce website, Shopify, where we set up a sales campaign, we have the option to go for maximize value of conversion. Now, I think I talked about this earlier in some earlier modules and all, but let me explain to you again. Now, when you're running an e-commerce website, an e-commerce campaign, as in like a sales campaign, the default optimization here, the performance goal, is usually the number of conversions, which is fair, you know. So what Meta is going to do is they're going to show your ads to people who are likely to purchase. But when you go for the value conversion, you know, I want you to read carefully. This is not available to everyone yet, but if it comes to you, and especially you have all the Meta Pixel and conversion API set up properly, and especially if you have the option to connect with already Google Analytics, that will be awesome because the data will be powerful and we'll be able to get really high value audience coming in. So here, when you go for maximize value of conversion, okay, I want you to read this. What Meta would try to do here is they would try to show your ads to people who are most likely to generate higher value for your business, meaning they would zoom in to the people, they would run through all the data, they would actually come out, they would segmentize people. Let's say, for example, they run through all your data, they realize that female age 25 to 34 seems to spend 50% more compared to other age groups. So they will zoom in to this age group and, you know, hopefully get you more sales that gets you, you know, 40 to 50% more revenue compared to other age groups. And this is actually something that is very powerful, in my opinion. So if you have the option, test that. Next, I would really want to talk about leveraging on Meta AI. So yeah, I think in the last module, we talked about how powerful it could be. So I don't need to really repeat myself again. So basically, AI is really helping a lot of, you know, like helping us to take off a lot of unnecessary time that we need to spend on creating creatives, do some copywriting and all that. So yeah, AI image generation, which I just showed you. I mean, that one was not really a good example because they kind of blend these two things because, you know, like the images are, you know, outdoor exterior design. But then again, the message itself is all about like learning ads. So they combine things together. But if you do sell something, you can actually use AI to help you, let's say, change the background of your product, of your image, you know, or probably to regenerate your image. Let's say if you do interior design, for example, or you do some whatever, you know, like sell something, AI, I mean, for whatever Meta has over here, may be able to help you create something that you have never imagined yourself, which could be quite useful to look into, right? And of course, the AI content, which is the text part generation, in my opinion, they are getting better and better right now, to be frank. Frankly, last time I used to spend a lot of time trying to crack the best way to write. Now, what I most of the time that I do is I just come out with the gist of it, as in like some even point form, some broken sentences, and I throw it into AI or even the Meta Ads Manager, and I let them generate and let them restructure the content for me. And I just need to tweak a little bit and everything is good. So don't spend time digging into this thing that may not be, you know, like productive for you. So use whatever tools that is available to us in the most effective way to help us achieve better results. All right. And then of course the AI powered ad optimization. I did not do that in the last module, but then again, some of my clients actually did see some improvement when they added some you know, like music to it, because Meta would actually automatically apply some music or even some animation and all that. If you don't mind, let them do that. You know, to you, it's like if, say, for example, your goal is just to get as many results as you want, you don't really care how it's being presented, you can actually try that. Okay. Now, the next one I really want to talk about this. This is really not something that a lot of people are using, but single ad sets seems to work really well. What do you mean by single ad sets? Say, for example, okay, you can actually have the same targeting. You have 5 ad sets in it in the same campaign, but each ad set has one advertisement or one category only. So, I mean, it's either you have one ad or you focus running ads for one single product. That's the idea. Okay. So what is the benefit of doing so? The benefit of doing so is basically, this is actually a more organized way to test creative. Now, you may be asking, why do I want to test this? Doesn't mean that each of the ad sets will be competing among each other. Do not forget, my way of setting up top of funnel campaign, especially, I do have exclusion, meaning each and every one of the ad exclude people who have recently interacted with the ad. So if you interact with ad A, for example, you will not be seeing ad B, C, D. That's the logic. So you got to apply exclusion. So based on my observation, okay, the frequency is always at the low side, below 2 for 7 days, which in my opinion is reasonable. Okay, so basically this is an easier way for us to organize, because back then what we usually do is we have maybe 3 to 5 ads within the same ad set. And the problem is we always have one ad that gets most of the ads budget, and the other two don't really get to test. And often than not, right, the one that gets the most budget may not be the one that gets us the best result. So here's the thing. So in a way, we actually started testing this multi kind of tier, kind of different campaign structure. We have single ad set, each one carry one ad or one category. Say, for example, this is for, like nail polish, for example, and you have one to two, not more than three, to be frank. If you want to do that, I would actually say maybe break it. But yeah, one category, one ad set is fine as well. So the whole idea here is, let's say, for example, I would just want to come in and test which product category may get me better result for the top of funnel, and I would actually use that way to test. So that's kind of like the possibilities that we have here. Okay, so one ad set contains one ad or one category, because this is the easier way for you to organize, and it's also an easier way for you to scale and optimize. You see, back then, a lot of people kind of do this, right? Oh, I just put everything into one ad set, and whatever works, and I would just duplicate out. Listen carefully. When you duplicate and add out into a new ad set, even though you give it a new budget or whatever, it is still a new structure. It may not give you the same result as it used to when it was originally in the old ad set itself, because the learning would totally be different, because it actually restart every learning. But think about this. If you break into single ad sets, for example, so let's say if you notice that this ad A is doing really well, you can always close down ad B and move the budget into ad A freely. And all the learning that has been contained within the same ad set that has been working well for a while, it continues to grow better and better, continues to brew, and it only adds you, like more weight into the whole thing is going to get better and better over time. So that's the whole idea of single ad set optimization. Now, to move this further, okay, this is really something that I've been doing with my clients, and it's really, really quite powerful. Single ad advantage plus shopping campaign, which means, what do we do? Okay, what we usually do is we test with manual setting first, and then after that, we move the winning ad into an advantage plus shopping campaign. Yes, you may be saying that, Jason, you just say that, when we move into a new one, and basically it's going to be whole learning again. But here's the thing. Okay, because advantage plus shopping campaign naturally helps you find better people who are more likely to buy. And when you put in the winning ad, when I say winning ad, it's not just the ad that gets you the best result. Yes, of course, that's the key. But then again, the ad that gets you the better CTR and all that, and you know that this product or this image is really working, combined with advantage plus, I would say at the moment, we're seeing 80% of them are actually generating equally good or even better results. That is really something that is quite useful for some of my clients at the moment. So I want you to start looking at the possibility of, especially this is for e-commerce, I want you to start looking at the possibilities of testing different combination of things, or the structure in a way. In the next modules to come, we're going to talk about structure. We're going to go into the ads manager and set it up already. But then again, the whole idea here is, I want you to start thinking about, when you're applying your strategy, what kind of structure that you'll be building allows you to better scale and optimize a campaign. That's the whole idea. Okay. And of course, if you want to do this, you want to make sure that your pixel and conversion API are set up properly. And if you already have the option as you're watching this video, get your Google Analytics connected to your Metapixel, so that you have an extra additional flow of data coming in to help you optimize your campaign attribution and everything, hopefully to help your ads manager and your pixel and the conversion API to get better and better, to help you find better audience. Remember, okay, finding the best audience is not just about the ad. Of course, that's the key, but all the data that goes behind to help us understand who that actually buy, and all this would help us improve the campaign performance along the way.